Who's ready to rumble? Hey everyone, I'm Rod and Todd, and this is a review of Transformers Legacy Voyager Class Prime Universe Bulkhead. Now this is a figure that I initially wasn't planning on getting when it first came out. However, my inner completionist kind of forced me to do so. And the reason I wasn't really keen on this figure when he was revealed is primarily because of this, the vehicle mode. So this is definitely a figure that has kind of gotten some mixed reactions. It's supposed to be based off of Prime Bulkhead, however, here's the Prime Bulkhead toy I had as a kid. As you can see, they are completely different. In the show, Bulkhead was like this, I don't know, what would you call this? Like off-road kind of big, heavy thing. And here, he's like a military transport truck or something. When this figure was first revealed, I thought it was a garbage truck. It was primarily just due to the front design of it, kind of the fact that it was green. I don't know. But anyway, over time, this figure has definitely grown on me. I will say that. And one of the reasons I kind of have to say about that is because this figure is solid as a rock in pretty much both modes. This vehicle mode right here is pretty solid. It has some very decent weight to it. It has 6 wheels that all roll somewhat well. Of course, the problem with modern construction nowadays with using just simple plastic wheels with no metal pins is that these don't really roll that well. But I mean, whatever, work with what you got. I like the front. It definitely looks very, I guess, intimidating. The big blue windows and the little windshield wipers actually having paint on them, and the Autobot symbol, the big bumper on the front, has like a winch with some really nice sculpting on it. Doesn't work, whatever. Paint on the headlights, side mirrors getting some paint. There's a lot of paint on the front end here. I also kind of like how it's kind of like a two-toned green look. It has like a lighter green at the front, a darker green at the back. Something I should also really praise this figure for is the weapon storage in vehicle mode. I'm normally not really a fan of weapon storage in vehicle mode, where it's just sticking the gun on top of the vehicle, because that always just looks dumb. I always preferred it if it either integrates in a meaningful way, like having Megatron's fusion cannon form his actual tank cannon, or having the Seekers have their arm cannons form the little guns under the jet or whatever, or if they're just like hidden away in the vehicle mode somehow. And this one does a very good job of that. You can kind of see it back here, but you lift up the tarp, which is actually removable, by the way, and you can see you can just store all his weapons there in the truck bed. Of course, without the tarp, this thing looks kind of dumb, so let's just put this back on here. I can get it back on. Excuse me for 1 second. So something else of note about the tarp is that it just flat out has Minicon Power Links points on the side. If you're kind of younger, you might not know what these are, but back in the early 2000s, Transformers Armada was a toy line all about these smaller Transformers that could attach to the larger ones using these little pegs here or the smaller hole in the middle. And sometimes there would be a little trigger inside there that would activate some special feature. Minicons were cool and all. I have a bunch of them, but they're all in my closet at the moment, so I can't demonstrate this with an original Armada Minicon. However, I do have my broken Thrilling 30 Heavy Tread. He has one of those. So let's see if I can actually get it on there. Yeah, as you can see, it just pegs on the end of the tank on the side. So that's really cool. Something Legacy has been doing with like Metroplex and the new Starscream that's coming out is they aren't including Minicons, which sucks if I'm being honest, because like Omega Supreme came with Countdown. Why can't Metroplex come with Drobit? Like, I at least kind of understand why Starscream can't come with Swindle, but then Blaster came with Eject? I don't know, whatever. I'm just at least hoping with the new Armada Starscream, it does at least still have Power Links ports on them, but whatever. Also, something cool, you can see this black portion where the tarp piece attaches to. It kind of forms like a little door looking thing. That's kind of cool. It's a nice little detail. which is actually some really nice kind of sculpted detail on the tarp itself. Makes it look kind of like an actual cloth tarp draped over the thing. So, opinions on this vehicle mode? Well, again, it is very much a departure from the original, and it's really hard for me to look past that. As someone who grew up on Transformers Prime, these toys are just kind of bizarre looking. So I will always prefer the Prime Cyberverse Bulkhead just because it's actually more accurate to the cartoon than this one. But as its own individual thing, if you can look past the fact that it's supposed to be Bulkhead, then this right here honestly works. A lot of people have kind of been calling this like a G1 cartoon Bulkhead, which I can kind of see. Like, this vehicle mode definitely has some influences. But yeah, I do like how solid it is, and it does look good, but again, it's just weird. But anyway, that being said, let's move on to the transformation. And this thing was really complicated to transform into vehicle mode, so it should be easier to get into robot mode. There's a reason why I start in vehicle mode. So you're going to start by taking the whole tarp up and just kind of popping it off. You set that to the side. Then you want to remove the accessories. Set those off to the side. So now, just kind of unpeg the two halves of the vehicle mode. Separate the legs. Unpeg these little silver side thingies here. Feet, flip forward, so. Open up the back of the leg, rotate this around, that just kind of hides in there, and you fold that back up. Gotta fold out the heel spurs, these are kind of hard. One way I've been able to find to do it is sometimes you just keep doing this over and over again. Sometimes it kind of works itself out. Not today. So I'm gonna have to get in there manually. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay, there, I flipped the heel spurs on both of them, which is really annoying. Let me get the other leg done there. So there's the legs pretty much done. Now what you're going to want to do is go to the underneath the front cab portion. The arms just, or this whole thing lifts up and the arms fold out like so. And then there's these two wheels, the two little things on the back. These fold up like that and they just kind of slide up into this little area there. Arms separate and just flip all the way up like that. Then you take the waist, connect it like that, then take this black piece, swing that around there, and then it all connects together. Lift up the chest, this little black part folds down, head flips up. Then the arms kind of tab into the side of the chest like so. And then this little blue piece here in the chest plate pegs into the front of that black piece from earlier. Fold this down, make sure the head's all the way out, and should be good to go. So here's Bulkhead in his robot mode, and this is interesting. So as you can see, compared to my old Cyberverse Bulkhead from back in the day, it is pretty much nothing like how he looked in the cartoon. It is very much a G1ification of Bulkhead, in a way that Prime RC or Prime Knockout, who also got Legacy toys, honestly don't really do, so it just looks weird. Like, I kind of understand why, in a way, because something like this would be kind of hard to engineer at a size this big, but I mean, like, I don't know. But anyway, let's talk articulation. So he has a ball joint to the head, so you can move his head left and right, and up and down. Universal joint at the shoulder, so you can move his arm out, and all the way around. It's pretty much completely unimpeded, which is nice. Bend at the elbow, which these are very stiff on mine, and it is very deep, way over 90. Swivel at the elbow. Wrist swivel. Waist swivel. Universal joint at the hips, remove his leg out, forward and back, and the out movement is kind of on like a ratchet, but not really. It has some detents in there. Bend at the knee, swivel at the thigh, and then tilt at the ankle, and that is it for articulation. So pretty good articulation on this figure. Not every Transformer these days has wrist articulation. No way, it's so hard to see his head. It's weird. But anyway, yeah, so let's take a look at that head. That is a very good head. That is a very bulk head, if that makes sense. You can see compared to the Cyberverse one, the head. Yeah, the head's probably the best part of this figure. It's the only part that actually makes him look like Bulkhead. Could have given him any other head and made him just any other random character. But accessories. So he has 3 accessories. He has the tarp, and then he has 2 others. Let's just talk about the tarp first. So this is kind of like a shield thing, kind of folded around. It has a peg, which can flip out from the back or from the front, which is a really nice little bit of engineering there. And what you can do is you can actually fold this around, have it flip out the back, and there's sculpting on the other side to make it kind of look like a riot shield. And it has the little cutout in the front and everything. Like, I don't know, this is okay. It's a neat little use of that piece, but, you know, whatever. As I've said, when it comes to Transformers, if they have parts forming shields that you can just mount on the back with 0 consequence, I will do that every time. This right? No, this isn't. All the way down? Feels like this is mounted too high up. Give me a second. Okay, so the reason why it looked like it was too high mounted up is because there's a peg here where it's used to mount on this point in the vehicle mode. So you can just put it on the connection point for the vehicle mode, and it winds up on his back. And there, now you can just have it on his back and not have to worry about it, which leaves him free for his other accessories. He has his Wrecking Ball, which is definitely Bulkhead's signature weapon. The animated one had it, the Prime version had it. This toy came with a clear blue Wrecking Ball, but it broke, so I don't really have that anymore. But this is a very nice silver Wrecking Ball with 5mm ports all over the dang thing, so go wild. And the way it goes onto his hand is really clever. It actually opens up, and there's a peg inside, which then you can fit onto his hand and just close it up, and boom, Wrecking Ball hand. That is a really great way of accomplishing that, and I really like that. His second accessory is his clear blue Energon weapon, which is this minigun looking thing. I really do like the look of this. I like the gunmetal gray paired with kind of dark-ish clear blue. Looks really nice. I like how there's silver paint on the end of the barrel there. Looks really nice. He can hold this in his hand, which just looks terribly undersized compared to the rest of the figure. Like it's a minigun. It looks like he's holding a small little pistol or something. Or it has these little pegs on the side, which you can use to attach to this mounting point back here. And give him a shoulder cannon, which this is kind of my preferred method of displaying it, is with the shoulder cannon. I think it looks pretty nice. That way he can keep his other hand free for whatever. You may have noticed these little wheels sticking up out of the top. It's because in Transformers Prime, Bulkhead had his vehicle mode wheels sticking out of his back like that. You can see on the Cyberverse toy, they kind of tried to accomplish that. And here, they just used fake kibble, which, like, I mean, transforms from a 6-wheeler to an 8-wheeler, I guess. And I mean, yeah. So, I guess this figure, it's still very much a mixed bag for me, because if I'm being honest, as Bulkhead, this figure sucks. It is not a good representation of Bulkhead, in my opinion. It's really just due to the fact that they try to label this as the Prime Bulkhead. If this was just some new version of Bulkhead made for like a Generation 1 kind of style thing, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But they explicitly label this as Prime Bulkhead on the packaging. Which, it's got the head, and it's got the weapon, but it doesn't have anything else. It doesn't have the vehicle mode, it doesn't have the robot mode. Like, I do kind of dig the whole front of the truck forming the chest like that, but that just doesn't look very good as Bulkhead. However, as an action figure in and of itself, I love this thing. It's very solidly constructed. The way its accessories work are fantastic. How the wrecking ball fits on the hand and how they both store under this thing here in the vehicle mode. His transformation is pretty fiddly, especially getting into vehicle mode. But I mean, like, I don't know. Articulation's great. I think aesthetic wise, it's alright. Like I like the look of the vehicle mode. The robot mode, not so much. But I mean, whatever. So that's kind of my final verdict. If you're a big Prime fan, this guy doesn't really do it for you, in my opinion. I am a big Prime fan, so yeah. But as just a Transformers action figure in and of itself, this guy is awesome. So it's really weird. Like, I can't tell if I like this thing or not. Because he's really great in one way, but really bad in another. So, yeah, final verdict on this guy is if you really like Prime, you don't really need to pick this up. This guy definitely isn't doing it for me as a Prime figure, so probably won't do it for you. If you want a modern Generations Prime figure, you could pick up RC or Knockout. They're both pretty decent. Or any of the red guys if you care about that, but I don't know. But if you want like just an Autobot to fill in your Autobot army, oh heck yeah, this guy's worth it. So very mixed bag. As Bulkhead, I'd give him maybe a 4 out of 10, but as just a Transformers figure in general, I'd say probably about an 8 out of 10, with the missing points being just from the fact that the transformation is really fiddly. So anyway, that's my review of Prime Universe Bulkhead. Then next time we're going to review the other Voyager class figure from Legacy Wave 1, that being Blaster. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and with all that being said, this has been Rod and Todd signing off.